So IELTS reading will be your second activity on the day of your exam, followed by your listening. So listening will be your first activity and followed by your reading. Reading usually takes about 60 minutes. You can say it takes only 1 hour in total. We can divide that time in 20, 20 and 20 minutes. Okay, that is for reading passage 1, 2 and 3. Usually you are not given any extra time except the time that you are provided over there. You can have some extra time for your listening, not for your reading. So be careful while spending your time. Usually you are having or you really have about 2700 to 2800 words to read. And if your reading is not good, so obviously you'll take more time. This will take more time to cover up those 27 and 2800 words in that time. That is similar in terms of the type of question that we have for academic training and for general training. That is both for academic training and general training students. The time is same, the word is same, time to have about 20 is same for that. But there could be some difference in terms of the number of words that is used for general training. You can have like around 1500 words in your general training. Before that, there were less words, but these days you can expect to have some more words in your general training reading test as well. So first question that I can ask is, when the last time you had some reading? When the last time you had some reading?
A few minutes ago.
Few minutes ago. When the last time you had some reading?
About few minutes ago.
Few minutes ago.
Few months ago.
Few months ago.
A week ago.
A week ago. So this indicates that what are your reading habits are. If you're reading a lot, it means that you could read better. You could take less time to read one text passage. Okay, and if your reading habits are not there, so it means that obviously you will take more time to read your text. So this is vitally important, that if you're utilizing more time on your reading, it means that you will have less difficulty or struggle while you're reading your English or text of English. If you are reading could be a dull thing to have. If feeling sleepy, so what you do mostly, you read in the bed. If you don't feel sleepy, we read in the bed. So reading could be a dull or boring thing to have. So you can make it interesting. Like yesterday we had some jokes. Okay, so you can have some joke books, or you can have some interesting material that you can take interest in. There could be newspapers. If you don't like the politics, you can go for the sports. If you don't like that, you can go for the business section, and even there are a lot of sections in the newspapers. You can read them out. You can read out different textbooks, different types of books, in form of stories even. You can also read out the stories. The more reading, the more you read, the better it will be. The easier it will be for you. Okay. So there are 40 questions that we usually have. Sometimes you have like 41 questions, 42 questions in simple tests we have in the different IELTS books. But on the day of your exam, you'll have 40 questions. And out of the 40 questions, whatever you get, you will get the bands for that. If somebody is getting 23 out of 40, so it means that you will get about 6 bands. Okay. Okay. Then if there will be no extra time, there will be no extra time for you. You will have that in listening. In listening, you are provided 10 extra minutes. Okay. But in reading, you will not have any extra time. So what you need to do? You have to transfer your answers on your reading answer sheet as you find them. If I just find out the answer for the question number 1, you have to immediately transfer that on this answer sheet instead of transferring that on the question paper first, and then you will obviously have to come back again. And then after reading those passages and solving those questions, obviously you need about 4 or 5 minutes to transfer your answers from your question paper to the answer sheet, and that's the time you can save. Okay, so you can also add in that how to save your time. So you can answer transfer. So if you transfer your answer directly on the answer sheet, so this could say in even 4 to 5 minutes. Okay. So we've already talked on some of the rules that you need to take care of while transferring your answers on the reading side of that. This reading side will be in the blue color. The strip you're watching at, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Reading, 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 reading. Mean that reading, this side should be used for your reading, and we have on the flip side we have listening, that is in the green color. Okay, so make sure you're writing your reading answers on the reading side, not on the listening side. So you need to take care while transferring your answers, especially you need to have those pencils with you. In case if you make a mistake, you could replace that. Okay, you can erase your mistake and you can replace that. And if somebody is using permanent pen, what will happen? If you make a mistake, then obviously you will have to cross it, and you may write this in the other box. Okay, so before transferring the answers, you must read out the instructions. That is really important. If you're transferring your answer without reading the instructions, you may make mistake. If it's written, you should write no more than one word. And you have not read the instruction, you're just taking that something from the text, you're probably transferring 2 or 3 words, and you're not reading the instructions, so your answer could be crossed over there. So it's important that you should read out the reading instructions, and that's really important. Time challenge is always there. You will see when your test will in progress, so you will see the time will run out of your hands. The clock will just keep on ticking over for you, and then each time you look at your wristwatch, you will see that you will have less time. Okay, so how you have to control your time? There are a few things that you can do. One, that you have to increase your reading habits. Okay. It's like if somebody is reading one text passage, it may take about 5 minutes. And a person who reads that with good reading habits, or he reads a lot, so he might take about 3 to 4 minutes, because he usually reads a lot. So you can even save your time while reading different types of stuff. Use skimming, that's quite handy. I've written it over here. The skimming saves hours of time, and that's a thing to catch, a thing to be implemented. You have to implement that while you're reading. If you're reading the text, especially for the different types of questions we have, except the heading question, you can't apply that on that heading questions. Except those heading questions, you can apply that on different types of questions. So if you're reading, it means that you're wasting your time, and you will not have that much time. Okay. So, and obviously you'll have to utilize your time wisely on each of these reading passages. I have mentioned that there will be 3 reading passages. You need to spend not more than 20 minutes on each reading passage. If you're spending 25, if I spend about 25, obviously I'll have like 20, and I will have that 15 minutes like that. So it means that I've already utilized 55 minutes. I shouldn't have. So you can have less time if you're consuming more for one reading passage. Okay. So it is recommended that if you think that one passage is easier, you can shuffle these reading passages. You've got that question paper with you. You think that you have to start from the reading passage 1. It's not mandatory. That what we say normally, that if you have writing task 1 and 2 in front of you, you should start writing your response from writing task 2 first, instead of writing your response for your writing from the writing task 1. Instead of that, you are writing it, you are doing it from your writing task 2 first. Same as you have got the options, 3 options: reading passage 1, reading passage 2, reading passage 3. If you are good at solving those yes, no, not given questions or any other question you think, and that includes in one reading passage, so you can choose that for yourself. You think that that's easy for you, and you can choose it, and you can go for it. If somebody is struggling with the heading question, he thinks that I am not good at solving those heading questions, so then you have to leave it till the end. So a good thing about your reading or even for your listening is that you can have your guesses in even. If you have missed any question, you can put your guess in. And if it's your day, so even your guesses could work out for you. Okay? Okay. So be quick. Be quick means that if you are not that quick, just moving your pages.
Active,
Okay.
be active.
You can show that activeness over there. Okay. We always say that you should have a chocolate before the exam.
A coffee.
It doesn't mean that you should have a box of chocolate before the start of your IELTS preparation, and you have them regularly in regular intervals on that. So be quick. There could be. Okay, it could save your time, because for the 40 questions, if you will work slowly, then obviously this will take more time. Okay, practice more tests. Right now we have 1 to 17 books in the market. So more books, more practice, more ideas you can get about different types of questions we have. If somebody is practicing only 1 or 2 tests and is going for the exam, you will have some experience of solving some questions to some extent. Okay. Then if you are going with a lot of practice, you have practiced like 4 or 5 books. Obviously you will have like 4 tests in one simple IELTS book. And if you're practicing 4 or 5 books, it means that you have practiced like up to 14, 16, could be 20 tests. Okay. So more tests, more ideas, and try to solve the question from the latest books that we have. There are a lot of books that we have with the old patterns and the type of questions that are not being repeated these days. So follow the trend, and you practice the latest books that we have in the market. And therefore you can also get a lot of stuff online as well. If you don't have the access to the hard copies of these books, you can just go online using your laptops, your supercomputers, and you can have your time, give yourself a time challenge, have a stopwatch, and you can start solving those questions and those text passages. And you can do it online. This will save some money for you if you're not going for the hard copies. Next time we have title. So in title, we can simply get the idea that what is going to have in the text. We have one label that the risk of cigarette smoke. What you can expect in this reading passage. They're going to talk about the risk, probably the diseases that are related with the cigarette smoke. Could be a public awareness, or maybe the laws. There could be some of other figures from around the world. There might be some researches involved in that, some other stuff as that. So title can only give you an idea that what you are going to have in the text. So there are different types of questions that we have. MCQs, the multiple choice question. Whatever question you have, you will have to go to the end. You see that there are instructions that I have told you before. As you can see that it's written, choose the appropriate letters A to D. You see A to D, that's written in the capital letters and also written in the bold font. Okay, you can see A and D. Other letters they're not bold, but letter you can see here, they are bold. So it means that these letters should be written on your answer sheet. You can see same here. As you can see, yes, no, and not given. You can also see ES is written like this, and this capital, and it's in bold font. So obviously this needs to be transferred on your answer sheet as it is. Even yesterday I told you if somebody is writing Y like this, and if you're writing it like this, still it's acceptable, but do follow these instructions and the font that they have written on that question paper. That will help you to write down the correct answers on that. As you can see, some of these MCQs, we have A, B, C, or D. Okay. Obviously, you will have to read out the question. Reading questions effectively is always the key, even for your listening, for your reading, for your writing, and for your speaking. And for you speaking, if I'm asking one question to you and you're not picking that, obviously you will not be in the position to give the answer of that. In reading, if you have read the question but you have not understood, there is no way you can answer that question. Similarly, in the listening and for the writing as well. So understanding the question is always important. You have to understand the question first. So therefore, you will have these options A, B, or C, D. You can underline some of the keywords from here, and then you can go back and you can have that skimming from the text. And if you have found any appropriate answer, you can just pick it up and you can write it down on your answer sheet. Tables is one of the type that you may have in your exam. You never know that what type of question you have. There is no trend that, okay, we can't predict anything, that they're going to give you something that is that has been published in recent books. That could be a different pattern even. They may take it from anywhere. So another question that, okay, where they are taking this stuff from? The stuff that you have in your exam, where they take it? They are taking it from different publications from around the world. Okay, it may involve different researches. Okay, and then they could just have that extract from there. They compile that, they edit that, and then they give you in your exam. So tables, we have the columns in the tables, we have the rows, and we have the cells as well. So there is always some given information, and you can find out that missing information with the help of the given information. I can also give you one example of that. There is one of the tables we have. In this table, we can see that instruction that you need to read first. There no more than 3 words. No more than 3 words. It means that you can write 1 word, you can write 2 words, you can write 3 words, but you can't write 4 words. If you write 4 words, even if your 3 words are correct, they will be incorrect. You can see the period. As you can see, there are some periods given: 18th century, 1920s, 1930s, 1960s, 70s, and 80s, and like that. But we can also see that the style of period is also given. You can see that building material is also some of that given, and some of these cells are empty. And there are characteristics that also mentioned there. So you only have to search for the information that is mentioned for the question. We have now question number 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. Don't have to write down information here where the cell is empty. Now the characteristic that the cell is empty, you don't have to write down anything over here. You don't have to write down anything over here. You don't have to write down anything over here either. Okay? You'll have to write down in the boxes where the question numbers are mentioned. Summary questions are comparatively easier to solve. In summary, sometimes you have the questions and the answers same place inside the reading passage, and sometimes it could be scattered at different places. Okay. Okay. And there is a kind of fill in the blanks type of. There are the blank places, and then therefore there is some information. Diagrams. Let's see that I can find out the information of diagram for you. That's a diagram that we use in the listening. It's one of the pyramid for the food. That's the diagram that you can see. That's the beehive. That's the beehive, and it's open. You can see some of its parts, and there are question numbers that are from 20, 21, 22 and 23. And you can start from the question number 20 and then 21, 22 and then 23. Flowcharts are the type of question where you see that the information, it flows in one sequence. Sometimes you have the questions where you can, if you just go for the answers, you may have the answers at different places. Like if you have answer for the question number 20 here, and for answer for the question number 21 could be before that. Okay. So, but in the flowcharts, we usually have the information in one flow. It's not like that. If the answer for the question number 13 is here, and the answer for the question number 14 will be before that. No, it will be immediately after that. Okay, that's the flowchart. Next we have yes, no and not given questions. There could be true, false and not given questions. So either case, I told you yesterday even that you will have to follow the instructions. If the questions are yes, no and not given, obviously you will have to write down yes or no. If the question is yes, the questions are yes, no, you don't have to write, or you can't write true or false for that. If you will write so, then it will be crossed. In the question section, you can read them out, and then once you will go back, you will have to find out the same information from the text, whether writer has mentioned this, whether the writer has talked about it or not. If he has mentioned that in the text in the same words, or could be in the paraphrase form, there could be yes. It is yes because I've found it in the text. It's yes. Okay, we have no more than one word, no more than one word, no more than two words, no more than three words.
Blanks.
So if it's written in the statement that like we have no more than two words here. Before that we have seen that there were no more than three words. Now in these days they are more given like no more than one word, and confusing you because they create confusion. You will see that in different reading tests they create confusion. They don't make it easy for you to pick up the simple answers from your question paper and put them on the answer sheet. They always try to make it difficult for you. So one word, it means that one word was one word. That's one word. Okay. If you add another, it means there will be two words. Sometimes you have one word or a number. One word or a number. If I say so, this will be one word or a number. So you can add both in that. If it's written one word or a number, you can write down one word and a number as well. Okay. Some students, they only write this. They say, okay, one word. If I add another, it means that there will be two words. These are not the two words. That's the one word, and there will be another number in that. So make sure that you are not exceeding this limit where it has been mentioned in there in the instructions. Skim questions first. Whenever you have that reading in front of you, so you have few choices to make. Some go for the reading first, they just skim out the text. But what are you skimming for? If you're just going straight away for the skimming, what are you skimming for? It means that you need to read out the questions first. How many of those you can read and memorize? All of them? No. If they're like 6 or 7, 8 questions, memorize them all? No. You can't memorize them all. You can read out one question, read out the keywords, go back and start skimming. Say, if I just read from here, in March the beekeepers dash for migration. In March. So March could be an easy word to skim. When you go back in the text, you can just start skimming the text, not reading the text. You will read there, when you will read there, you will see that Okay, if I can have, yeah, I can see it here. So by early March, luckily I found it. By early March, it means that that's not the area to read. That's the area to skim. That's the area to skim. Now, this is the section to read from. Before that, if you're reading, it means that you're wasting your time. You just keep on reading, and that's the biggest challenge that mostly students face in reading. That in reading we don't have much time because they are not being able to utilize their time according to the way they have to. You will have to skim some of its part or major part of that, and you will have to read out small proportion of that. It means that you will save your time. Skim the question first. You can underline the keywords. The keywords, that the one that we have underlined, March. Yesterday we talked about the working hours. I just wrote down one sentence, and at the end I asked her, what is the keyword in that? So they were working hours, not there in that. Synonyms will be there in numbers. Sometimes you will read out one question and then you'll just go back and you'll try to skim. You may find out one keyword, but you will find out a lot of synonyms with that as well. Some of its proportion may include a word that may have the synonym the same in the text passage. Okay? Like if somebody has read a word rain, if he goes back and starts skimming for that, he just find out one of the keywords, and it's there around the same place, and another word is written that is downpours. Instead of rain, they have written downpours. Say about downpours of the monsoon, and I was searching for the rain. Okay. Similarly, the word souvenirs. Souvenirs sometimes we read it, and it could be the gift word, gifts in the question. जिसको हम कहते हैं ताइफ या तोहफा, and you can have this word in the text. And if you are not aware of the meaning of this word, you will just simply go through it, but will not be aware of that I have missed one of the keywords in the question. Okay, well, I already mentioned this, that you can do that skimming for other types of questions, not for the heading question. And why is this so? Because if you will just go for the skimming, you may find out the keywords, and if you're matching those keywords, it means that you've got the wrong answer. You can't do it for the heading questions. Heading questions के लिए हम नहीं कर सकते. So these are the heading questions. Grammar is corrected. If I'm just going for the word grammar, I'm just going back and I've started searching for the word grammar, and I found in one paragraph, and I say that's my paragraph. This is the title that I should give to this paragraph. What is the heading? What are the heading questions? That in these questions we have to give a title to a paragraph. Okay, and the answer should be written in the Roman letters. Say I to IX, 1 to IX9, and don't try to use your own writing 1 here and 9 here. It means that's incorrect. Don't have to use your own idea over here that is similar. Reading answers and the listening answers of your answer sheet will be checked by the computer. So it shouldn't be illegible. Legible means that the writing style or the font, whatever you are using, it should be readable. If it's not readable, even your answer is correct, it could be crossed or rejected by. So in case your vocabulary, you can increase your vocabulary choosing some of the words, and you can have like in numbers like 20, 30 every day, and therefore you can practice them every day. Having a bank of words is something else, but if you are not repeating them every day, it means that you are getting those words and you're forgetting on the daily basis as well. You are learning some, but you're forgetting about, or you're leaving the others behind, and you're forgetting the others that you have learned previously. So you have to remember or you have to repeat them every day on a regular basis. So this is what I've written here. You have to memorize and therefore you have to repeat like 20 or 30 words per day. What is 4 to 7 bands journey? The idea is very simple. If your vocabulary, the word bank that you have limited, your education is not that up to that level, it means that your English is that weak, so you can expect that your bands will obviously will be around 4 and 4.5. More education, more English knowledge, more vocabulary will give you more bands. You will find out there will be a lot of answers. They will be comparatively easier to solve and to find out. These are the answers or these are the questions that test your only the less level or lower level of your vocabulary or your knowledge. And if you're finding your answers straightforward, that you think that that answer is pretty simple to trace, it means that that is testing your low level vocabulary. And the higher it goes, you start struggling with the answers, and then therefore sometimes you don't find the answer or you're not in the position to find the answer. And that could be the vocabulary that is used for band 7 or could be for band 6.5 or more. Okay? Because there are a lot of synonyms that are also involved in that. So you can guess the meaning from the text or from the words around and compare with the dictionary. If you have any difficult word, obviously we'll go for that difficult words that you can have some idea about that. But you can search one word, you can have that idea, guess the meaning from your own, and then try to find out the meaning for the same word from the dictionary. That could be a good practice to have. It will allow you to implement the same practice on the day of exam as well. Read or keep notes to repeat them every day. That's a regular activity that you need to do. If you have read something last month, you didn't read out for the next month, your reading habits are not there, it means that you're not helping your cause. So obviously you will have to read out on the daily basis. You have to read them on the daily basis. One very common problem that is not recognizing a word. Obviously there is no magic, but still we can try to get to the meaning of that word. Have you watched?
Yes.
Okay. What is the meaning of farn, nitrate and pre-digestion? What is the meaning of farhan, nitrate and pre-digestion?
They are not even words. Three Idiots.
These are the words that are taken from the 3 Idiots. So why it was highlighted or mentioned over there? Because mostly students they go for the words that they try to get to the meaning of those. Whereas you sometimes or you mostly know the meanings of those words. That's a good lesson to have. That was in the movie, but still there is a lot to learn from there. Basically, the Farhan was the name of Amir, the friend of the Amir Khan, and so as the Raju. Before that and after that, whatever we have, there are the prefixes and suffixes that usually make the word complex. And we assume from that we don't know, we don't understand the meaning of that word, but actually you know that. If you just have some focus on that word, you may find out some of the prefixes and some of the suffixes. What are the prefixes? This is what we read when we were in the schools. We read about these prefixes, sabka, suffixes, like, and then the root word. You need to find out the root word. If you have find out any difficult word, you can try to find out the root word for that and see if there is any prefix or suffix with that. If you find out the root word, this will be easier for you. We have this word refine. What is the meaning of that refine? Fine mean acha, refine. Again, the refinery, you're making something purify again. Okay? You're filtering something. About apostle. What is the meaning of this word? Apostle. Before?
Postman's.
Yeah. We can. Egg.
Dark.
One. Egg. Post. A message. इसको हम कहते हैं पैगाम. एक पैगाम. If I say apostle of Allah, a person that brings a message from Allah, of Allah, a apostle of Allah, apostle of Allah. Okay. About primitive. What's the meaning of primitive?
Primitive, premature.
Old.
Old. No. It's not mandatory that there are the prefixes and the suffixes. They are there in every word. Sometimes you have the root word and a suffix. Sometimes you have the prefix and a root word. We don't have any prefix here. We only have a root word and suffix here. So what is the meaning of prime?
Basic. Basic, बुनियादी.
We say the prime quality, the primary school, the first school. Pehla, awal, ala. Prime quality, sometimes we say ala quality. Similarly, we can have about the primitive society. अव्वल या पहले का मुआशरा. The primitive societies, यानी कि पहले की societies, पहले का मुआशरा जो है, इसको हम ले सकते हैं. It means that we can get some meaning, some from the root word, and we can apply that on. You may find out a word that with the confused meaning, or we don't know the meaning of, and that word may hide one of your answers as well. So it's always important to know something about a word that is confusing. Another thing you can have, you can see that if there is any glossary. What is a glossary?
The word written at the end of passage.
Yeah.
Or in the
You not
beginning
have,
of passage.
yeah, you not have that on the day of your exam, but you can find out in some of these books. As you can see that we have a glossary at the end of the passage. The word written here is done, and there is an explanation that you can see in front of that. Okay, you can see it's written the droppings or excreta of animals. The droppings or excreta of animals. So what are the droppings? The dung, the cow pad.
Yes.
Okay, the one that we use for fertilizing. So you can see this word done at different places in the text, and you wish you could know the meaning of that word. You can find this out in the glossary section of your IELTS books. You can see that down there on the page. That explains the word. Basically, that's the explanation of the word that you find difficult. Capital or italic. You may have a word that is in the capital letter. This starts from the capital letter. Even it's in the middle of the sentence, but is starting from the capital letter. That is your proper noun. You don't need to know the meaning of that word. Okay? And same as for the italic case, if the word is in italic, what is italic? That is okay. Still, you don't need to know the meaning of that word. It means that's the proper noun. You have a lot of examples from the different books. Word followed by its own meanings. You have sometimes you have a few words and that is followed by its own meaning. There is a hyphen or semicolon you can have. We have a word suffragettes. Explanation is there in front of that. A group of women that contain 4 words. And we get confused, what's the meaning of suffragettes? And it's written in front of that. The word is explained, or what is there with its explanation immediately.